Praise Jesus, everybody. It is 4:49 a.m. Pacific time in Southern California. Hot, windy, and fiery Southern California. My last broadcast was Sunday, a day before actually it was the day that fires broke out. And I made it a quick one, and I went through some reviews of one after another disasters that was going on has been going on in California, and I actually didn't even mention fires. Of course, the Northern California fires went on several weeks ago, and thousands are displaced, and lo and behold, very prolonged wind gusts and winds and hot air, Santa Ana winds, when winds come from the deserts all the way to the coast. And Los Angeles is in very dire straits right now. And just momentarily, I am going to play for you some updates from a Los Angeles radio station as I'm driving to work. And thank you for joining me on the Michael Tobin Show on Straight Up Network. Oh, Lord, help us. And Jerusalem. What about Jerusalem? Jerusalem is a city of God. Why is Israel having so many problems throughout the centuries? You know what I just realized going through the Bible that I started 3 weeks ago, is that God actually called King Nebuchadnezzar the king of where is now Iraq, but is then Assyria, the land of the Chaldeans. God called him his servant. And if you read Daniel chapter 4, it's an excerpt actually written by King Nebuchadnezzar himself, and he tells about his dream and how Daniel was the only one in all of the land, all of the soothsayers, the wise men, and everybody that could actually tell Nebuchadnezzar what his dream was and what it meant. And it has been coming to pass ever since then. But what is happening right now is if you just include tolerance, every nation always says, well, why do you have to be so exclusive? Always accusing the successful ones of being exclusive instead of inclusive. Why else would all of these kings of Israel compromise and literally worship other gods? Because they want to show their solidarity with their people. And somehow, even Solomon worshipped other gods, as wise as he was. So they always show this solidarity and do something to appease the people other than the ones who actually have the vision. So God called Israel, the land of Israel, a nation of priests, a holy people. And God never once said that they were better than anybody. But as a tactic of the devil, of course, and the flesh, jealousy arises. So what does God do at one point? He speaks to Nebuchadnezzar, somebody who even says he worships other gods, but God speaks to him, he communes with him, and Nebuchadnezzar ends up glorifying God and loving God. I don't know how his salvation works out, because how could you worship other gods and be a follower of God? But God actually called Nebuchadnezzar his servant. So God gives Israel, the Jews, especially Judah, countless warnings through Isaiah, through Ezekiel, through Jeremiah, the prophets, and other prophets, all the way up until the time that they refuse and they finally say that we will not heed God. There is no hope. He doesn't see us. And we will worship who we want and create our own devices regardless of what God says, because there is no hope. Now, if you read that, you'll see that it's just like today. But there really is no compromise. Jerusalem literally is the capital of Israel. And today I wake up to the news that there are riots within the borders of Israel. Not even what they call the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the Palestinian Front, whatever they call themselves now. Not even in their territories, what is called Palestine. You see all these youth that CNN seems to cover so well, and which is the channel that I turned on this morning before going to work. And they already have naysayers and detractors to interview. So they're going to be playing this all day long. And Donald Trump declared that Jerusalem is recognized as the capital of Israel. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu congratulated us on that and is looking forward to it, but there are now riots. And God only knows what's going to happen, but according to Bible prophecy, something such as this is conducive to what lies ahead very soon. And that is the whole world coming against Jerusalem to fight against Jerusalem. And as Revelation says, that the world is going to come and fight against Jesus himself. So that's kind of in a nutshell. I'm driving right now. Obviously I can't read my notes, but this is a precursor to the Jerusalem subject, while at the same time continuing with my series, Will God Save California? I was encouraged to read from a social media site from those who are the Cajun Navy, who are still in Texas. It was an encouragement to read all their prayers for those of us in California at a time when we're actually being ignored by people in every other state. But I expect, I can say that I would expect Christians to be supportive of anybody who is downtrodden, because the Bible says to, of course, to go about doing good. And many, many prayers for California coming from Texas, a group called the Cajun Navy, who was very instrumental in rescuing many people and animals in Texas this past month after Hurricane Harvey. So I don't know what I was alluding to with that. But California, our fires. On my previous broadcast, I said that California can scarcely afford or survive any harsher disasters. And yesterday, here in San Diego County, there was a 4.1 earthquake in the afternoon in the eastern part of the county. And a couple hours later, there was a 3-point something earthquake. But before and after that, there were aftershocks. The earthquake, 4.1, then many aftershocks, and then another actual earthquake, 3.1. And who would have ever, if it happens, who would have ever thought that a devastating earthquake would hit San Diego? Usually it's the Los Angeles area or farther north into the San Francisco Bay Area. Whether it be God's punishment for California or whether it be it's just time for it to happen. I don't know. But as Billy Graham once said, that if God doesn't punish the United States, he owes Sodom and Gomorrah an apology. So that's my quick little update. Let's go to KFI.
But still, firefighters are very concerned about what today's going to bring.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I woke up this morning because when I went to bed last night, I thought, oh, they're going to kick up overnight, whatever. And there was a bit of a breeze, I guess, when I left, but not much more than that. But this is great news. I was thrilled to see that, even though I know that they do a prediction of the winds, I think, according to color, and they were talking about today was going to be purple, and that meant we could see 80-mile-an-hour winds, but we're not seeing that.
Yeah, and purple is something they have never done before. They've never had purple conditions, and this is a purple day. But we can hope that the forecast is wrong. That said, it could still very much appear through today, and they expect at some point that it will get windy unless the forecast has completely changed. And we're just talking to our correspondents on the different fires. Everybody is reporting in the same thing, which is great news. On the Sylmar fire, on the Creek fire, they don't have a whole lot of wind. In Bel Air, they don't have a whole lot of wind. In Ventura, there wasn't a whole lot of wind about an hour ago. And then up here in Ojai, really no wind. There are some official reports coming in out of Point Mugu, 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts overnight. In Sylmar, I think it was 65-mile-an-hour gusts up in that area. But those are on either mountain peaks or out in the ocean, not on the fire lines here where the winds are relatively calm right now. But even with the winds calm, the flames have still been raging, and we've seen a lot of activity on the top of the hillside. So it's still very, very dry. Still could be a very tough day, even if the winds don't materialize. But if they do materialize, this is going to be a heck of a day for firefighters.
Okay, let's go over the fire where you are. What are the current numbers?
We're at 90,000 acres. It went up last night from 65,000 to 90,000. As you mentioned, La Conchita has been in danger today, and they've been doing a lot of structure protection there. Not real surprising because the flames all day yesterday were coming down the hill to the 101 freeway, and the freeway was open all day yesterday. It's closed right now, the 101 in both directions, but it was coming down all day long, and it would come down, creep down, and then as fire does, race back up. Well, it has crept down behind La Conchita and is racing back up, and that's been creating the problems this morning for folks there. But this is a massive fire, and now we're talking about evacuations in Santa Barbara County and Carpinteria this morning that they have been evacuating. So now this is going to begin pushing into Santa Barbara County, and everything will depend on that wind today. Because as long as you have strong winds, digging fire line doesn't matter. This thing has been jumping major freeways. We're talking 10-lane freeways that has been jumping. You dig a fire line with human hand or a bulldozer, it's going to go right over that. They need the wind to die down before they can really begin fighting these fires in a true sense beyond just trying to save lives and homes. They had progress yesterday in Bel Air, obviously. They were able to get fire retardant lines around that and really knock that one down. If the winds stay calm today, they've got a pretty good handle on that. But these other fires are just so big and just monsters that getting them contained is going to take a lot of work.
And the part about the airdrops that is just so bad is that because of these big winds, even if they are able to get those helicopters up or the fixed wings up, they drop the water. All it does is just fly away. It evaporates or just goes somewhere else because of the wind.
Yeah, I mean, you think of an 80-mile-an-hour wind, and really what we were seeing on Monday night was you, with a hose or with a helicopter, you spray that into the air, it goes the opposite direction that you were intending it to go, and it evaporates in the air, and you don't have much progress. So even if they can fly, they haven't been able to do a whole lot. Yesterday, they were able to make some progress because the winds were much calmer. But the other problem that we've seen up here is if it's not the wind, it's the smoke, that they can't see where they're flying, and you can't get air attack in there. You can't be sending in heavy air tankers or helicopters into places where they're blinded by smoke. It's too dangerous, and they don't know what they're going for in there. So if the smoke is as thick as it was the last couple of days, that also makes it very difficult. These fires have just been, everything's been wrong for firefighters on these. Nothing has been helping them, and they just need some help. Hopefully, once we get through whatever is going to happen today, that even though we've got red flag conditions now through Saturday, that at least there'll be more traditional firefighting, that they'll be able to go in and ground pound these things and try to get them contained and then put them out. But up until now, they just haven't been able to do that.
Alex, you're great. Thank you so much for your time.
You got, hey, by the way, we saw Santa Rosa fire down here last night.
Oh, oh my gosh,
yeah.
That's crazy. Like those guys can't catch a break.
Well, I know, but, Southern California, LA fire, we saw LAFD, lots of folks from city and county up in Santa Rosa during the fires up there. Santa Rosa's returning the favor now. They're in LA. They're on the Silmar fire.
That's great, Alex. All right, cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jennifer.
All right, see you later. I know my girlfriend came in last night from the Bay Area, and she was driving in, and she called me from Harris Ranch, the Coalinga area, and said she could already see, as if you're on I-5 and you're heading south, and you start to look toward the mountains, and you can sort of see them, and she couldn't see anything. She said it was just smoky. And so she said, I know they're there, but I can't see them, that's for sure. But that's pretty cool. I mean, Santa Rosa had so much help from, the firefighters down here, and like Alex said, now being able to return the favor. But, I mean, that's kind of the cool part of the entire firefighting system is that, at some point...
Okay, folks, you were listening to KFI, Los Angeles. If you have iHeartRadio, you could find KFI. It's AM 640. They're actually having, starting shortly before I went live with it, 5 a.m. all day coverage of the fires. But let me tell you how it started. Monday morning, shortly before 4 a.m., the creek fire started. And by the time I got to work, a little after 5, it was already 1,000 acres. By the time I got off of work, which was about 2:30, the creek fire was 11,000 acres. So that was Monday morning. Well, late Sunday night is when the Pasadena fire started. At the time that I was at work, it was 35,000 acres. So overnight, it became a 35,000 acre fire. At the time after work, Monday, it was at least 50,000 acres. Now that day, Monday, a third fire had begun. And then Tuesday, a fourth fire. So there's 4 major fires now. All of them are tens of thousands of acres each. And quite a few homes now have been destroyed. The president of Fox News, he's also the president of 20th Century Fox. God, I can't think of his name right now, but his home in Bel Air is destroyed. And a viral video that's going where a man was driving on, I forget what highway it was on. Maybe it was the 5. He was going south during his commute early morning. He could see, yesterday, he could see a whole hillside in flames, and traffic was just flowing. It was slowing down, but it was flowing. They had not had the chance to stop the freeway yet. Shortly after that, I guess after daybreak, they were able to close the freeway. And after work, this gentleman, he was interviewed by the Weather Channel. After work, he went back north the same route, and the whole hillside was black. But that hillside, that viral video of all this traffic going, past the fire on a freeway, over that hillside was actually Bel Air. So ranches, wineries, horses, animals, and people, and at least one person is already dead as a result of one of these fires. And San Diego, we've been on very high alert for the past week because we anticipated all these Santa Ana winds. And today is the winds may be calm right now, but that may be the calm before the storm, because Santa Ana winds, gusts can happen suddenly. It's like lightning. You don't know when lightning's going to strike. That's how these winds come. So all of the forecasters are already in agreement that it is going to get windy. So pray for California, folks. Pray for Jerusalem. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, as it talks about in Isaiah 40. Pray for the world. And keep hope, folks. Don't quit. Don't quit. As I mentioned in my previous podcast, Jesus said that we need to endure. Okay? So don't give up. Endure. Thank you very much for joining me on the Michael Tobin Show. This has been a little shorty again. And stay tuned for more detailed podcasts, and I will let you know. And that's it. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day.